Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Brother Rabbani, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How you doing, bro?
Good, good.
Rabbani, I called and left a message for Dr. Ali yesterday. I haven't heard back from him, but it was Saturday. So the only number I had for him was at his office.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know how quickly they transfer messages from the switchboard to him. But like I said, I haven't gotten a call back from him yet. But I did. Were you saying his email doesn't work anymore, or what?
Something happened where he got he had to change. Somebody had actually messed with his email, not his email,
Really?
but also his I believe the his email and something else he told me, but I failed to have gotten the new one. That was the problem. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that foretells, but so I'm not sure. Well, we'll find out one way or the other. See.
I was telling somebody we need to have a class on how to protect your email address and your phone, because there's a sister in our community that she swears her phone is being hacked. Her mobile phone has been hacked.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I think a lot of times people have too much stuff on their phone or open on their computer. They don't close things out.
No.
They don't know how to use those settings that scrub things after a certain number of days or hours or whatever. They don't accumulate, because that will mess up, especially on your computer. If you're not scrubbing your browser on a regular basis, it will definitely mess up your connectivity, and you'll think somebody's messing with you, but in effect, you're messing with yourself. And it's just usually it's laziness, because people don't want to have to re-enter information. Like if you save passwords so you can just go to something really quickly without having to remember your password, then people just do that, and they'll keep things open for months. Sometimes I've known somebody in my family that kept something open for years. Just because they didn't know how to store a password or remember a password, didn't want to have to look for a password, they kept it open. And that, even if nobody is messing with you, that messes with your computer. If something's always running in the background.
into this. They want to see. The what?
Assalamu alaikum, Imam Tariq.
Wa alaikum assalam, everyone.
Alaikum assalam, bro.
Bloomberg, I just saw a flash from Bloomberg saying that elder abuse is on the rise because people are living longer, and their inheritors, their children and grandchildren, are having to wait longer to get the money.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I haven't read the article, obviously, I just saw the flash, but I know what they're talking about. These, and especially obviously, it's in the European American community more so than anywhere else. I mean, life expectancy, I mean, most of these people, they were probably expecting their parents or grandparents to be gone in their early 70s, and these people are living into their 80s. So the 83-year-old father who has the 55-year-old son who's been waiting all these years to inherit that $125 million, you know, estate, but dad's still going out for a walk every day and, you know, playing golf once a month and all that stuff. And the kid is getting frustrated. And they try to make claims that, you know, the parent or grandparent in some cases is incompetent, they can't take care of themselves, that they're spending money frivolously and all this stuff in an attempt to get their hands on the money or get control of the money.
Well, that helps us because we ain't got a dime anyway. So.
Oh, I know. So I'm saying it doesn't even concern us for the most part, at least not yet. I wish we had that problem because we have solutions for it. They don't have solutions for it. They don't have the same. They don't think the same. They don't have the same kind of virtue platform. Dr. Ali, assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Alaikum assalam. How's everybody?
Doing great. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
You got the email or you got my phone message?
I got an email.
Fantastic.
I got
All right.
about 5 different emails, and I saw this, and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be. I want what time I was supposed to be on? I'm on so many different calls, man. I'll be honest with you. I like wow. But anyway, I did get it, and
Welcome.
alhamdulillah. Thank you very much for your invitation.
Yes, sir. And it'll be constant because last week I think I missed. Well, I know I missed sending you the email because I thought we had invited you for last Sunday, and I made the mistake of not including you in the group email, and that was on me. So I was going to make sure this time that I did not make that same mistake.
Okay, because I have 2 other individuals that I think you know, when you begin to discuss the credit union, that I would love to have join us, because I think that there's going to be real opportunities for us in this venture.
Okay. Let me ask you a very direct question, and you can answer this or not answer it. I'll understand. Is the credit union in question in Ipaquina? Is it the Ipaquina County
Yes,
Federal Credit Union?
Yes, it is, and
okay.
Yes, it is. And if you want me to get into that, I'll get into that and talk about it a little bit about where we stand and how we're moving with it.
Okay, let's open up formally. Imam Tariq, will you open us up this morning?
Yes, sir. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Ameen.
I mean,
And I
Me.
just want to say just right quick, Dr. Ali, this is Tariq from Biloxi.
Alhamdulillah. Oh, this is Mrs. Okay, alhamdulillah.
Yes, sir.
Good to hear you, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
All right, Dr. Ali, the floor is yours. We are listening.
Let me share with you, brothers. I'm really happy about the undertakings that you're having here, because we really need institutions to deposit our monies, and as a community, and we were fortunate enough to really, and I don't want to say acquire the Issaquah County Federal Credit Union, but we were, without one penny, and so we've loaded the board, with we have a holding company called AGU, Anchor Global United, and it is a holding company with multiple verticals. And I'm gonna just kind of share this with you. One of them is banking and finance. Other one is architectural development, construction. Another one is green energy. Part of it is sports and entertainment. And we have, so anyway, we have these verticals underneath. And obviously one of the missions were to acquire a union, a credit union, or a bank, because we're going after a bank right now, because even with the credit union, we realize that it's not going to satisfy what we need to do on from an international perspective. So we're in the process of looking at. So anyway, whatever we're doing these things, I just feel like it's real good when we involve our community in these ventures. So several of us, there were 3 brothers who started something called the Bank of the Diaspora. And that was Omar Davis. Some of y'all might know Omar. Omar is the director of the Islamic Development Bank of West Africa. He's got 5 nations that he's the director over. So he and y'all probably know Ambassador Waleed Shamsuddin. We were invited to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, to the Islamic Development Bank annual meeting. And we had an opportunity to share with them our need and our desire in the United States from our community to open a bank that would have a relationship with the Islamic Development Bank. Now, many people think the Islamic Development Bank is a Saudi Arabian bank, but it's not. It's made up of 57 different countries, member countries. And Saudi Arabia just happened to be one of those countries, and many other countries. It just happened to be housed or in Saudi. But the fact is, United States is not a member country, but we were trying to find out how could we become an affiliate. And so we have one way that we felt like we could do it was to acquire a bank or get a bank charter. And if you know, anytime you start going de novo, thinking about developing a bank charter, it is hard, and it's very difficult, arduous to get a brand new bank charter or a federal credit union charter. So we set out on the trail of trying to acquire one. And fortunately, alhamdulillah, we were able to do this. Now, let me share with you what Issaquah County it has a serious history. And the history of this Clarence Hall, 1969, it was a brother who was just had a desire to see that his people in Mississippi, Issaquah County, which is probably the poorest county in the state of Mississippi. He wanted to see something happen in 1969, and he started this thing and got all of the qualifications that were necessary to become a federal credit union. He was honored because from 1969 to a couple of years ago with his passing, this man was able to hold that credit union in place and serve the people of Issaquah County in Mississippi, served them with small loans. And it really, but you know, even though it was a federal credit union, they really they met the criteria and did everything, met all of the, you know, whatever the evaluators would come through and whatnot, met the criteria to satisfy, you know, the National Federal Credit Union standards. So they kept it up to speed. And it's a very simple situation. And it really wasn't that, you know, when we came in and cut a deal with them, with AGU, we cut this deal. We knew at that point that we wanted to bring Islamic-based products into a financial institution. And in order to do that, because all the members, you had, in order to be a member, you had to be from Issaquah County. None of us were from Issaquah County. So we had to find a way to become members of the credit union. And we did. And so with that, we felt like the first thing we had to do was change the field of service. And that's where we are right now. We're changing the field of service. And what that means is, as opposed to, in order to be a member, the requirement is that you be from Issaquah County. The field of service now is going to be faith-based. So this is what we're saying. We wanted to change it to a faith-based field of service. Now, what that will allow us to do with faith-based, if you believe in God, you can be a member. And no matter where on earth that you are, you can be a member. That's what we are doing right now as we speak. So my thing was, in order to, you know, get the monies up to where they have to be, we have to increase the membership. So obviously these big churches, and, you know, if you believe in God, in my estimation, I felt like this group out of North Carolina, you all would be another group that I would approach and say, hey, if you, and this is the way we would do it. It would be Issaquah County Federal Credit Union, DBA, whatever branch you are, we'll open up branches. And, you know, there'll be some big churches that will be involved. And we have 2 large churches that have expressed interest in becoming a part of that and opening up their own branch. So, and I thought that would be one of the best ways to do it. And they said, well, how do we get representation? One of the things that we've done, the board, we have decided to open up an advisory board. They won't necessarily be on the main board, but there will definitely be an advisory board for new members that are coming, new branches. In order for them to be represented and heard, we would have an advisory board, and that's what we are in the process of establishing right now. So I'm gonna just stop right now and say that if there's an interest, I would say, I would love to think that Graceline and, you know, of course, the brothers and sisters at New Medina, we started out, I think many of y'all probably know, we started out back in 2002 trying to start a credit union in New Medina. And when Hurricane Katrina came along, and we were trying to do it de novo. We were trying to get a new charter, all of that same way. And what happened when Hurricane Katrina came, the brother who had all of the information regarding the credit union got washed away in Katrina. But you know, we have to understand that nothing happens except that Allah allows it. And there might have been a good reason for it, whatever, but we're back on the trail. We never stop. And I think some 20 years later, here we are, you know, at that point. So what I was thinking was, you know, we have to have an institution where we can deposit our money. And we were trying to do a credit union there, and you know, we wanted to do some things that would be consistent with Sharia law. And many of us didn't understand what Sharia law was, even though we were saying it. We didn't even know what that meant. You know, we just wanted to know. We wanted an Islamically based program. And now we have Omar over there running the Islamic Development Bank. And obviously he is in tune with that. And he's been doing that for in several other countries. He's been doing this for probably 15 years or so. So we have firm bases and wonderful attachments. In fact, when we went to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, we met with the Minister of Finance from Malaysia, and there is a y'all probably know, many of y'all on this phone might be aware of back some years ago, Imam Muhammad sent a delegation to Malaysia, and the finance minister at that time was the one who oversaw that delegation. And Omar Davis happened to have been one of the individuals who was on that mission, on that trip, and part of that delegation. So the finance minister who oversaw them is now the prime minister of Malaysia. And Omar has wonderful working relationships with these people, with the Malaysians. And man, when we talked about opening up a bank here, they were really poured it out. We had a big meeting with them, a big long table, big room. There must have been about 12 of them. And, you know, our delegation, probably about 5 or 6 of us. He basically stated that he loved African Americans. This is what the finance minister of Malaysia said. And he told Imam Walid Shamsuddin, brother, can I give you a hug? Because we love African Americans. We really want to see you all do well with that. And what I'd like to do is get 5 members from your community, students, bring them over, send them over, and we will teach them how to do Islamic banking. And really, when you look at Malaysia and Indonesia, these are the leaders of Islamic banking in the world. Not Saudi Arabia, not Dubai, none of that. Malaysia, that's where the action is. So I just wanted to share that with y'all, and I'll be interested in taking it back to the group. When I told them that, when Brother Rabbani asked me to get on the phone call, I told him that I told the credit union that I want to be having this conversation, as well as AGU. I told him that I'm going to be having this conversation with y'all and wanted to see if you would have any interest in opening up a branch. If you don't have your own right now, it's just an option. Let's explore the possibility of opening up and I don't know all the parameters right now, the dynamics of it, but if you have that interest, let me take it back. In the next meeting, I'll have some other individuals on board who can begin to execute. Like I said, I'm an administrative guy, but I'm not a finance guy. You know, I just put things together and I bring people together. So if y'all see it like that, I'm gonna open the floor up for any questions that you might have right now that I can answer. I hope that was helpful. Inshallah.
Yes, very, very helpful. So I have just a couple of questions off the top of my head. There are how many directors on the board in total?
There are 9. We expanded the board to 9.
Okay,
And
and these are staggered lengths of service or the same? I mean, how does that set up as far as who's up for election in 3 years, 5 years, 7 years? I don't expect you to know that off the top of your head.
I don't know that. I don't know it. I don't know it. I just know that the last meeting, there was so much business that was taken care of, and we realized that those questions that you have are definitely a topic for the next board meeting. Board meeting.
But okay, so of the 9, you control how many, or your group controls
5.
how many of those seats? 5.
5.
Okay. In looking at the last filing from Issaquina, it looked like there was 1 full-time employee, and then that went down to no full-time employees, like a part-time employee. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah,
So
two or three part-time.
Okay. And does the credit union operate every day of the week or only certain days of the week?
Well, it was every day of the week. I think it's 3 or 4 days a week at this point.
Okay. All right. And it also looked like the majority, if not all of the loans were automobile loans.
That's exactly right. That's about right. I think in terms of assets, they're probably no more than maybe $2-3 million in assets. And those are loans or small loans up to maybe $18,000, something like $12,000, $18,000 in loans. And remember now, these were things that the credit union was set up primarily to service the people of Issaquina County.
Right. I totally understand that. I know it's a small county, small population. So yeah, that all makes sense. So in opening this thing up and making it faith-based, have you had the direct communication yet with NCUA about changing that designation?
Yeah, and that absolutely.
Do you remember? I mean, I don't know if you were involved in those conversations. Do you remember who you talked to at NCUA?
No, and I'll tell you, we have a gentleman who is a banker. His whole life has been in banking, and he is the one that has been responsible for the administrative, movement in this new acquisition.
Okay.
We don't call it an acquisition, but it basically is.
Yeah, it's basically an acquisition. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Right. Which is fine because it's it's like a handover. No money's changing hands. It's just direction of the organization that's changing.
But we see, but you can kind of see, one is to hold the integrity of the historical part of this, because we don't want to let go. First of all, I think that we have to get into the business of preserving our historical institutions. So this, to me, is one of the historical institutions that need to be preserved, because Clarence Hall was really a serious guy. Y'all can look him up, Clarence Hall, and his daughter is one of the members of the who really brought it front and center. And she didn't want to see the hard work and the legacy of her father dissipate and go into oblivion. And so this is part of the reasons that I think this thing happened like it did.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So she's on the board, right?
Yeah, she was, first of all, she was in fact, she was the queen behind this thing being, this guy set this thing up where his kids could do it. his wife passed away, the son developed thing, he passed away. Everybody who was in line to get this set up by the father passed away. And she was the only one left. And she took it by default. Just kind of said, well, you know, I'm not a banker, I'm not this, but I want to keep this thing going. So that's kind of what happened with her. And I knew her from just, well, she knew me from just being a doctor delivering babies, you know. So anyway, that's kind of how that happened, you know. And
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
anyway, that's kind of how, and I brought all these folks together from AGU to say, okay, this is our opportunity. Hand delivered by Allah on a silver platter.
Mm.
Okay, so let's work off the premise, and this is just spitballing. Working off the premise that you are able to get the NCUA to approve a change of designation from basically a local credit union, more or less, just serving a particular county and maybe touching some other counties, to a true federal credit union designation, whether it's called faith-based or single common bond. Your next move, if I'm understanding you correctly, would be what we would do if we were in the same position, and that is look at opportunities for opening branches in other areas that had a vibrant Islamic population, you know, vibrant area, economic area as well, that you could grow the, you know, grow the depositor base and also have the possibility of creating income from people doing auto loans, home improvement loans, maybe first mortgages, maybe second mortgages, you know, those particular type of things. Am I on the right track there?
Absolutely, absolutely. And let me say this. What I would like for you to do, because it's you obviously I hear some subject matter expertise coming out of this conversation. And that's what I'm looking for.
There's some time worn lessons
Okay.
of, you know, bouncing head against wall and learning this stuff kind of the hard way.
Okay, well, what I'd like to do, I'd like to invite you to an AGU meeting, one of our meetings. And we don't meet every week. We just meet on the third, but we do have a finance team that meets on Thursdays, but we have our regular board meeting. AGU comes in on the third Saturday of each month at about 10 o'clock Central.
Okay, 10
So,
o'clock on
and
a Saturday.
I would love to invite you to that meeting. I'm the chairman of the board, but I would certainly love to bring you to the meeting and, you know, and have you do it. But also, we can do another conversation, and I can round them up, you know, outside of either meeting, you know, and we can meet one day, you know, just have a phone conversation where I bring you in and let you talk to some folks.
Yeah, that would be fine. I mean, trust me though, there are other people who are on this call who have learned the same lessons and asked the same questions that I asked.
Well, I bring anybody that want to come. This is the good thing about it. It's what I'm happy about, brother. Trust me. I'm so excited about the fact that in our community that we have brothers who are thinking like this and who have made the sacrifices and put the energy into having discussions about how to forming institutions where we can park our money. This is so critical and so important because, you know, we went around the country, Omar, myself, and the ambassador, and what we wound up doing, we looked into certain communities. For instance, when we were trying to form the Bank of the Diaspora, we went to the Somali community in Minnesota. We went to certain Pakistanis, certain Pakistanis, the Malaysian community. We went to several communities because we wanted to get a diverse group together to try to see how this will work. And we found that, and we sort of knew it, we weren't naive about it, you know, and it's almost everybody for themselves. And when you look at it, each community was taking care of themselves. Man, it's amazing how the Somali community, how they do that. I mean, they have a wonderful model. And we worked up a good working relationship with them in Minnesota, and how they do their monies, how they collect their monies, how they hold their monies, how they send money back to the country, how they do things like that. And you know, but when, you know, we looked into our community, there was nothing. There ain't nobody doing it. You know, and that was the unfortunate part. There are a lot of brothers and sisters around here who are doing some independent things, but as a collective, we don't have many things. And when I say a collective, I'm talking about community-wide.
Right.
You know, and I think that again, you all having these meetings, and this is again wonderful to hear, because I don't know of any other group doing. I know that there's some brothers in Atlanta,
Yes.
and maybe some brothers in DC who got lots of money, but I don't hear them talking about a collective institution to park the cash. So anyway,
No, the Atlanta is the only group I think that most of us are aware of, and I would like to think that they have been at this about the same amount of time as we have. Maybe they started a couple of years before us, because we actually had a meeting with them. I want to say maybe 3 years ago. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, about
Yeah.
merging our efforts, putting the two efforts together to get something done. And that never got any traction. We never went anywhere with that. And that was not a no on our part, because we've been open from early on, really, to joining forces with anybody to get this done and do it in the correct way, right? And there are some nuances, some things that we've talked about that we don't hear in other conversations, but those are not stumbling blocks to working with other people.
if you have an interest, this is what because we had gone so far in New Medina to try to do what we were doing here, I would like to propose something, and you know, we can work on it however you want to do it. But I see you have Graceline Federal Credit Union. If you consider Graceline / New Medina, Graceline New Medina Federal Credit Union, I'm 100% certain that this is almost like if you just consider a name like that, consider it. You don't have to take it on. I'm just saying, you know, because you know, I'm one of the founders of New Medina, and I really would like for y'all to come out for the 40th year. 40 years we were working this project. Imam Muhammad came there in 1987 and broke the grounds, and I'd love for y'all to come and visit. If we could begin to put these kind of efforts together, I think that you know, we will really be making some there's a word I'm looking for, but anyway, I think you get the point.
Yeah, I do. I promise you, I get it.
So inshallah,
Set something up, Dr. Ali. Just simply, I would say set up a meeting. If it has to be a Saturday, I usually have a 10 o'clock meeting every Saturday. But if I have it enough advance time, I can make arrangements to not be there at least one Saturday. And if it's some other time during the week, as long as I have about 10 days notice to adjust my schedule, I'll be there.
What about a Thursday?
Like I said, as long as I have about 10 days notice of the meeting,
okay,
I can make adjustments in my schedule.
All right. Well, this is what I'm gonna do. Inshallah, what I'll do is, I think that we have Saturday meetings. And
When's your next Saturday meeting? When's your next Saturday meeting?
the third Saturday, and it'll be the third Sat. We've already had our third Saturday in November.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
gonna be, that's the 15th.
Okay. I would say
15.
then, yeah, just why don't you pencil us in, not just me. Why don't you
Okay.
pencil us in, and as many of us that can be present at that meeting will be there.
Okay. Well, what we would do, I need a, I will have, well, brother, I'm not technical savvy and all that. I'll have
I
somebody
understand.
set all this stuff up. And there's a gentleman, John Brinkley, that will set it up.
Okay.
And I will pass your number. I'll pass the number, the email where I got this from. I will give it to him
Okay.
and have him to load it up and, give you that invite, send you that invite. Because we are moving. There is, we tried using WhatsApp, and I got hacked on WhatsApp. And some of y'all might have seen.
Of course, you
That's
got
what it-
hacked on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
That's the WhatsApp is not secure. I can cue you in. I can cue you in on the what is secure.
Uh-huh.
We'll have a side conversation if you want to do group stuff of an app that is 100% secure. Not even the NSA has been able to hack it.
Wow.
I will cue you in, and we can do secure communications that way of like messaging. But I do like Zoom for this particular type of meeting
Okay.
that we're having today. I
We
think
we
this works.
yeah, we're moving towards something called Telegram. I don't know if that works or what.
Telegram is also not secure, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll share that with the gentleman the finance director who suggested that, But if you got
That's
some,
it. I said that was the Secretary of War. He got jammed up in that.
Yeah,
And what-
well, no,
That's
he got jammed up on Signal because of the fact
Oh, yeah,
that
that's right.
he included too many people. He included the wrong people on Signal. He didn't close the loop on Signal. But
That's
WebEx and Zoom are the two best platforms for this particular type of meeting that we're having today.
okay.
And I would put Zoom as number one. But for just secure communications like emails, if you're sending a note to someone, person to person, Signal is the best. But you can't do it on a group chat basis. It is individual communication on Signal, me to you.
Okay.
But that's something we can talk about at another time. Let's get this meeting set up, if possible, just using regular email. And if we have to be on phones or if we want to use Zoom, if you don't have a Zoom account already set up, we can use mine, which is what we're on today. Or we'll figure out how to get all of us on that want to be on so we can meet each other and we can really talk.
Yeah, we do a lot of Zoom,
Okay.
I haven't done nothing with WebEx or Signal, any of that, but definitely Zoom and there are a couple of others that they've been using, but we
Okay.
okay. Well, either way, if they're